Trade season. It's starting to pop off, man. It's starting to pop off. I was watching the TNT doubleheader too when I got the news. I had just got done watching the Raptors kind of really just manhandle the Sixers. I don't know what's good with their defense, their effort. Jimmy Butler, talking about you. So let's dive into this trade. I'm sure by now you've clicked on this. You probably already heard 4 or 5 breakdowns or analysis. Who won the trade? Oh, the Sixers, the powerhouse. Well, I haven't read none of that because I like to keep my own original thoughts. I obviously read the details of who is involved. So the Clippers get Landry Shamet and essentially 2 first-round picks. There's some other picks. One's unprotected from the Heat, but essentially 2 first-round picks, right? And then the Sixers get back Mike Scott, obviously Tobias Harris, and Boban, right? Did the Clippers get anybody else? I don't think so. It doesn't matter, right? But I just want to point out how brilliant of a move this is by the Los Angeles Clippers. And Jerry West, I'm looking at you. Because one, okay, Tobias Harris, they weren't going to keep him anyway. We know that. That's kind of the thing, right? They're big game hunting. They want Kawhi, perhaps KD, AD throughout the Clippers' name and who he will sign with, right? So Tobias Harris is an asset that they were going to let walk regardless. They're sitting on the fringe of the playoffs. They move him out and ensure that their own draft pick is higher going into June, right? And here's the sneaky part about it. What did they just do to their Kawhi sweepstakes? Because essentially, they have bolstered one of Kawhi's team's rivals in the playoffs this year. You just saw Toronto beat Philadelphia, and there's a good chance they're going to meet in the playoffs this year, right? They've just strengthened one of Toronto's rivals. And I think the only hope that Toronto really has realistically of retaining Kawhi, who knows, because he's such a strange dude, but is if they win it all, right? They get to the finals or they win it all, then you say, okay, Kawhi, maybe he'll stay. So the Clippers have low-key lessened, or let's just say, made the path to the finals more difficult for Kawhi and the Raptors. So I thought that was a really sneaky, well-played move within this, but then they've just gained a bunch of assets for nothing. It was just a well-played move from the Clippers end, man. I'm very impressed, and they're making moves, man. They're making moves. Now, let's take a look at from the Sixers end. Also, not to be dismissed in this move is Landry Shamet, man. My squire from Sherwood Forest, my boy, man. I like him. I think he's a player. I think that's another asset, man. They've got young players, a bunch of draft picks, and a bunch of cap space in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, the Lakers is looking, man, I ain't going to get into that meme, right? You see what's going down with that. But let's take a look at it from the Sixers' perspective, right? It's an all-in move. And the first thing I read when I woke up was Woj saying that the Sixers want to retain their new big four. Do they? Because the first thing that came to mind when I read of the move was, oh, they getting Jimmy all the way out. I think low-key, Elton Brand and the Sixers organization have already decided, like, yo, we ain't maxing Jimmy Butler. And so I think that's what played into this move. Yes, this season, playoff push, they're going to try to make it work. Who knows? Maybe they'll catch lightning in a bottle and it'll sync up. But with Jimmy Butler, nah, it ain't going to happen, right? He's exposed himself to be who he is. People are figuring that out, man. I told y'all long ago who Jimmy Butler was, right? And so I think it speaks to the fact that this is Jimmy Butler insurance. Who's to say he'll even sign with them anyway? They can offer him the most money, but I'm not maxing out Jimmy Butler. No way, man. He's acting like this when he's supposed to be on good behavior, when he's going into a contract year. Can you imagine if you give Butler the bag? He's going to stroll in there with a robe and drawers on, kick his feet up and say, bitch, give me the ball, right? So I think that this is a low-key indicator. Tobias Harris, much more of a just a better team chemistry guy, right? And shooter. He actually fits what they want to do better because he is the better shooter than Jimmy Butler, not the better defender. They still need to address that. But, I guess, you could say, all right, offensively, now they've got their fourth guy. They can spread the floor. But let me ask you this. You've got Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler, both in contract years, both seeking the max. One of them's the fourth option now. right? One of them's the fourth option. And the thing is, Tobias Harris can get shots easier than Jimmy Butler. Not necessarily creating himself, but he's a little bigger and he's a better catch and shoot guy. So he may very well end up being the third option because he's a better three-point shooter. That leaves Jimmy Butler fourth. Is he gonna just soldier up along this playoff run and just zip his mouth and be a good soldier? Or is he looking at the offseason in his max deal? So this is a dangerous game that Elton Brand is playing because he's given up basically all their draft picks in the future. The one guy they drafted this year that looks good in Shamet. I know they have the other kid with the broken foot. You give up Sarge, you give up Covington, important role players, and you could be left high and dry in the offseason. Now, Tobias Harris, they're probably going to have to throw the bag at, like I said, and that's the leverage against Jimmy Butler. I understand why they did it. It's a risky move, and they're all in. You look at the East, the Powers, they're not where they need to be. I get it. They haven't given up anything really substantial that was definite, right? They're just draft picks, but at the same time, man, it's going to be, Philadelphia is not exactly attracting free agents. So those draft picks, I don't know, man. I think it's an absolute dub for the Clippers, man. That's a power move, and don't underestimate that sneaky move, because I know I'm sitting here downplaying how good the Sixers can be in the turmoil with Butler, but let's be honest, in a playoff series right now, today, it makes them tougher for the Raptors to get past. Sneaky move, Jerry West, sneaky move. Now, there were a couple other trades, right? Trade season. Thon Maker for Stanley Johnson and the Detroit Pistons, who have made two separate moves. And this move for the Bucks is a right now move. It's a right now move. Thon Maker definitely has a higher ceiling than Stanley Johnson. And I've liked what I've seen in spurts from him. I'm not quite sure how he's fallen out. A young guy, he probably feels like he deserves more than he should. And then Lopez coming in really, I think, ate his opportunity up. But he stretches the floor, and he's still young, man. He's still young, supposedly, right? Some of these African brothers, man, I don't know if he's 20 years old like they say he is or whatever he is. But Detroit, they're realizing we ain't got enough. We got to get some young assets, right? I'll talk about the other move here in a second. Thon Maker, he doesn't fit the Bucks system of space and pace. He's not a three-point shooter. I think he shoots under 30%. He's got a funky shot. Like, you see it one time, you're like, oh, don't shoot that. Don't shoot that. But what he is he's a situational defensive matchup. He's very physical. He's like 6'7", 240. He's built like a truck, and he's very physical and aggressive defender. Not great, not a lockdown guy, but what he is in the playoffs, they can put him and throw him against, you look at Boston, how many 6'7", 6'8" wings do they have, right? So you can throw him on one of those guys that's going. You can throw him on Kawhi. Now the Sixers have a plethora of forwards, right? And so he's a situational matchup guy, a guy that's going to come in and be physical. You can use up his fouls and kind of change the defensive look against some of these versatile wing forwards in the Eastern Conference. So I understand what Milwaukee's doing. It's a win now play. Thon disgruntled, probably wanted to keep the chemistry all good and stuff. Again, Detroit, Thon is a guy. Now, I think that, is this a sign that they're backing off? Because I've heard reports that they're just desperate to make the playoffs, even if it's an 8th seed, right? Well, these aren't moves for the now, but you never know. Thon could just bust out, but I think they're taking a step back and realizing, all right, we got to get some younger assets here. Our guys at their age right now, it's not enough. Blake and these guys are not enough. They'd love to get Drummond all the way out, but that ain't happening, right? So their second move was Svi Mykhailiuk. Y'all gonna kill me for the pronunciation. Svi Mykhailiuk. The rookie from the Lakers, the shooter. I like him, man. I like him. He's got some swagger to him. I think my first take on him is, I think he needs longer stints of minutes to get rhythm, because it's like he came in with the reputation as a shooter. To bring him in for 2-3 minutes here at the end of quarters here and there, garbage time, that's tough on some shooters. That takes a while for guys to develop, and it takes a special type of player. I think he needs to be in the game and work up a lather a little bit. I like him, but the Lakers go ahead and get Reggie Bullock, and Reggie Bullock is kind of an unknown little commodity out in Detroit. People don't watch the Pistons because why would they, right? But he's already 26, 27 years old. He's a catch and shoot guy. He's a dribble handoff, fake dribble handoff. He kind of moves off screens. He's a catch and shoot guy. And like I said, he's a little bit older, a little more polished. So he fits next to LeBron. He is a LeBron type of guy. He seems like he's Not too much is going to faze him. He's going to do what he does. So you understand what the Lakers are doing, but it's not going to move the needle either way for either team right now. Now, was there another trade? I guess those are the three main trades right now. I'll keep y'all up to date as other things happen. I was not expecting that Clippers move, man. And so we will see. Is AD going to get moved? The buyout market, right? You hear Wes Matthews Jr., DeAndre in New York. There's going to be more news. I'm going to be back with it. As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.
I've been winning so long, it's like alchemy.